Tiny House Prepper.
Live simple, live free.
Hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth with Tiny House Prepper.
And here we are once again, still in San Francisco.
I was in San Diego.
We've been in San Diego like 6 times in the past.
I've actually been in San Diego 8 times. I mean,
Yeah.
6 times in the past 8 months. Ooh, anyway.
Anyway, so here we are in San Francisco. And we told you in the last video when we explained how we met, that San Francisco plays an important role in our early life.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I had been in college, and Bill was stationed at Fort Carson, a bandsman. It was really fun going to his concerts anytime I had a chance. But anyway, I ended up coming back home from school, and we just became absolute best buds. We just were such good, close friends.
This was like a year and a half after we first met.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
By then, Bev and I, and you and Arnie were...
We had broken up.
Yeah,
we were not together anymore. In fact, it wasn't too long after that he started realizing how wonderful she was, and they started getting together. But like I said, we were just very close friends. And it's like one night we were all just got together with some friends, and we had done a Bible study, and we were just all praying together. And I just knew, it's like God just spoke to my heart. I just knew how much I was in love with him, and I knew I was going to marry him. But I didn't know what that was going to even mean. I mean, I didn't know what he would think about that, because we were just really good friends. But I knew it, and I guess I came to find out later that...
Well, so that's why you proposed to me over the phone. You didn't think I was going to bring that up, did you?
I think I came to understand that from what Bill has told me, he pretty much, I guess, was sort of in love with me from the very beginning. And
you're the only girl I ever kissed was the first night I met. That's significant, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And but I didn't really know exactly that was how he felt. And when I realized how I felt, I didn't know if I would ever say anything to him, if he'd be like, well, I'm really sorry, but can't we just be friends? I just didn't know. But I realized how much I really, really was in love with him. And so, yeah, I'll go ahead and, it became so strong to me. And around Christmas time, I got to where I couldn't really keep it to myself anymore.
Yeah. And, in the Army, we had a duty that we had to pull that was a 24-hour duty called CQ, charge of quarters, basically night guard at the barracks. Everybody else would go home, and one soldier would be tasked that night to stay up for 24 hours and do security checks and all that. I was on CQ that night. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
So here I am. I don't even remember what time it was, but it was fairly late.
Yeah, after 10 kind of a thing, yeah. And we ended up talking on the phone.
Right, so she called me on the phone because she knew I was on CQ.
Right. And it's just funny, I just felt like, I need to talk to him. This is so strong in me, and I didn't know what he was going to say, and it was very scary, but I just had to at least sort of see if I could open a door a little bit. And so we're talking, and I mean, Bill said I beat that poor bush up like you would not believe, beating around the bush, kind of like, in my mind it was like, if I could just let him know that could we maybe think about the possibility of maybe thinking of ourselves as possibly sort of dating kind of thing, and he just interrupts me and he goes, "You talking about the possibility of us getting married?" I literally would have fallen down if I
heard
was
this thunk as
I mean,
as the phone receiver hit the table.
I was just so stunned, and I got talking to him again, and he goes, "Well, let's talk about it."
Well, you gotta understand, I wasn't interested in dating. I was looking for a wife.
Yeah.
And I knew she was the one, but she didn't know it.
Yeah.
And nowadays, kids wait until their late 20s or early 30s to marry, but back in the 70s it wasn't that way. And
Yeah.
I was 20, and it was time.
Yeah. In fact, you were 20. I think you were 21 by that point.
When we got married.
Oh yeah, that's what you were 20 then. Yeah. And he had a job, and I, done school. We really could handle it. But I was stunned. And so we kind of backed off and gave ourselves a chance to really think about things.
Yeah, so it wasn't official, of course.
No,
but from that moment on, we both knew.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew in my heart that was going to happen even before then, but I had to make sure he knew, he felt the same way,
So it's been an ongoing debate. About who proposed to who? Because I say that she did it on the phone, and she said, no, that wasn't official.
But yeah, when I cracked that door open, he opened it, and I'm the one that started the whole process. But right after that time, now this had been right around Christmas, right after that time, my dad was now out in California, and he needed a pickup truck that we still had back at home.
Back in Colorado
Springs. Yep. So my two sisters and I, and Bill, took an excursion with a couple of vehicles all the way from Colorado clear out to the San Francisco area to take my dad his pickup truck.
I had a full-size Ford van, and they had the pickup. So there was like coming out here, there were two of us in each vehicle.
Right. We could take turns driving, and oh man, going over Monarch Pass, there was snow like 15, 20 feet on either side of the road coming through there. It was a pretty amazing trip, and so it was like a well-chaperoned chance for Bill and I to spend about 3 weeks together. We really, it was fun. But anyway, so we were out in this area. And we had a chance to come in and spend a day in San Francisco while we were out here, bringing the truck to my dad. Now, tell a little bit about.
Well, that was the first time I had ever been to San Francisco.
Now, I had been here because I go out to California for family all the time.
But where I grew up initially in the Baltimore area around the Chesapeake Bay, I was used to eating blue crabs.
The Dungeness crabs.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about going to the grocery store and buying a crab cake that's mostly cake. I'm talking about you take the live crabs, you put them in a pot, you steam them, you dump them out on the table.
With newspaper.
And then you pick up a whole crab and you pick it apart and you pick it and you eat it right there.
And they're about this big.
And my family had been doing that all my life for generations.
In fact, there was a crab feast every year for about 53 years. It finally kind of fell apart, but yeah.
Family reunion.
Family reunion, yep.
Now, so here we are in San Francisco, and we were at Fisherman's Wharf, which is right down there.
Yep, it's real close.
And she went off to, I don't know, look at something in a store or something, and I found basically a street vendor kind of thing that was selling steamed crabs. Now, I thought that the blue crab was only in the Chesapeake Bay area. This one looked exactly the same, but it was about this big.
Yeah.
Not quite.
It was. I bet it was that big. I bet it was that big.
I think in the Chesapeake, I think it has to be 8 inches point to point in order to harvest it. This one was at least a foot or more.
Oh, well, it was big.
And
a big, thick body.
And it had already been steamed, and I was so excited, and I bought one. And normally I sit down with the blue crabs and I eat a dozen of them, but I bought one, and he wrapped it all up in newspaper, and so she came back out and I said, oh, I got lunch for us. I was so excited. I got lunch. And I opened it up and here's this whole steamed crab, and she looked at me and her eyes got this big. It's just like, what do we do with that?
I mean, I'm from Colorado. I mean, we had steak when we could afford it. I mean, the first time I ever had shrimp cocktail was with Bill and his brand new boss, and I put it in my mouth with the shell on it, and I didn't know, and I was crunching, thinking this is really crunchy. I did not have any exposure to anything with stuff like that at all.
Right. So we sat there, and I showed her how to take it apart and how to pick it, and we each took half, and we got all the meat out, and there's all different compartments of where to get the meat and all that.
Big pieces of crab out of that thing.
And I was thrilled because I had never seen such a large crab in my life. It wasn't an Alaskan king crab or something.
Yeah, and those are all legs.
Yeah, the king crabs, all you eat is the legs. With the blue crabs, you eat the body, not the legs. The legs, there's nothing in the legs.
Yeah, you have little bits, but no, it's that big meaty part in the middle. Anyway, that was quite an experience for me.
So what did you think of the crab? Of the meat?
It was delicious.
Yeah.
I had just never experienced anything like that before. And I also really enjoy shrimp cocktail now. I just take the shell off first. But I'd never been exposed to it before. I grew up in the West, so it was a neat experience. And we were just out in this area, and so we went down to the beach one of the days up here in Northern California, which is one of my favorite places in the world. It's so beautiful here. And my sisters were out just walking around and everything. They're like just a few years younger than me. And so at this point I was 21 and he was 20. We were 20 years old. Anyway, we were out just walking on the beach, and we'd had like a real serious conversation. And I remember there was a rock out there with a hole in it, and the sun was shining through the hole in that rock.
Out in the water.
In the water.
Yeah.
In fact,
the waves coming through it.
Yep.
Right.
Bill actually found a picture of that, of something like that we now have as our wallpaper on our computer. It was an incredibly beautiful day, and so we literally ended up kind of standing where the water was just about hitting. This was winter time, of course, January. The water was just about hitting our boots, And he gave me a kiss right by the water, and I felt like I was in from here to eternity. It was cool. And then he just turned and he just took my hands and just looked me deep in the eyes, and I was like, oh my goodness, he's going to ask me. I mean, it was like officially really ask me to marry him. It was like this incredible wave crashing sunset over the water, beautiful moment. And it just stood there, and my heart was like ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And then he goes, well, okay, let's go. And he just starts taking off, walking up the big staircase to where the van was parked. And I was like, okay.
I told you I was an introvert.
I said, okay. So anyway, I called my sisters, and we all got back in the van and went back, and it started raining by the time we got back to my dad's place. And so my sisters went inside, and we were still in the little carport, this little apartment in the carport in the van. And Bill had gone to the back of the van to get something, and I'm sitting up in the front. The rain's pouring down, beating down on the carport. And I turned back and looked at him, and all of a sudden he just looked at me and he goes, if I asked you a question, would you know the answer? And I said, well, yeah, I think so. And he goes, well, I don't know if you're expecting this, but...
Do you like peppermint?
Yeah, rotten thing. He says, I don't know. You know how to kill a moment. He says, but I don't know if you're expecting this, but will you marry me? And you can do your version in just a second. But, he said, will you marry me? And I said, well, yes. I said, unless God would tell me different, I'd be proud to. Here comes a fire truck. Going right past us, big fire truck. Anyway, so he smiled real big, and he came up and tried to sit beside me on the bucket seat in the van, and slipped off and fell on the floor. And I reached down, and we were hugging each other, and our hearts were pounding so hard. And it was just, that was the big romantic moment. I loved it. The rain's coming down, he's in the back seat, I'm in the front seat. We couldn't even sit beside each other. We were hugging each other and just laughing. And we didn't even tell anybody for quite a while. We just really tried to think things through and make sure we really were doing this right, But yeah, that was when he officially asked me, although he will tell you that night when he was on CQ is when actually I asked him,
But I didn't say, will you marry me?
Yeah, this is his part.
I said, will you and she said, yes.
When I'm really emphatic, I'm shaking my head like I'm saying no, but I really mean yes.
So I said, will you yes. That's not what I was going to ask. I was going to say, will you marinate the meat tonight before you cook it?
Rotten thing. I heard the re-me. I heard the whole marry me. I heard it all. So yeah, that was how we sort of really officially, got engaged. And on my birthday in February, he gave me this beautiful little opal ring, kind of a promise ring, because we ended up very carefully. We were both so, not tons of money, and so we picked out matching white gold bands that we made payments on for months.
I was an E4 in the Army at the time,
Yep.
Specialist 4 in the Army at the time, so
And I didn't have a very high-paying job.
I could afford the rent, but that was about it.
Yeah. So yeah, he got me this beautiful little amethyst. Not amethyst, it was an opal, little opal ring, like a promise ring, little tiny diamond in it, and I loved it. And so yeah, that was how he sort of officially asked me. We actually got married July 1st then that year. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
So-
it was in January we were out here, right? And then
Uh-huh.
we got married in July.
On July
Yeah.
1st. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and so just being out here, thinking about being at Fisherman's Wharf, the beach out here, all of it was pretty special for us.
Right.
He introduced me to my first sardines on crackers, and
Oh yeah. I introduced her to the crab, and then just saltine crackers with canned sardines, and you just put the sardines on the crackers. She'd never heard of that before. That's something that my father liked, and they ate occasionally.
yeah,
And it was a great thing to just take, when you're traveling. Of course, the sardines smelled horrible, but
they taste good.
you had to make sure you didn't drip any of the oil on your pants, or you smell like sardines for the rest of the day. But weren't we sitting down by the water somewhere
Yeah.
when we did the sardines
Yeah, we were
and crabs?
driving along the coast a little bit, and we were sitting right by the water.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned that seagulls aren't these romantic creatures that fly along. They are like aggressive. They'll come and take your food right out of your
And
hand.
especially like sardines and crabs.
Crackers, yeah, sardines and crabs. That's
Yeah,
right.
Sardines and crackers, yeah.
Yeah, and crabs. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yep. Well, in Colorado, when you're out camping, they have what they call camp robber jays. They're gray blue jays. I mean, they look like a blue jay, but they're gray, and they're just like the seagulls. They'll come and take stuff right out of your hand. So they're not shy. So
when we were here on that trip, Elizabeth tells me that we took a tour of Alcatraz,
We did.
which is right there.
yeah, we toured Alcatraz.
For some reason,
remember.
I have no memory of that, but
My-
now that you talk about it, I have some very vague memory of being inside. But I just
Yeah, we took a ferry out there and toured Alcatraz. Yeah.
because now on this trip, I'm thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could take a tour of Alcatraz? She said, we've already been there. I said, what do you mean we've already been there?
My rememberer is just full of details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So I think it's a woman thing. So anyway, we wanted to kind of share that with you, and especially being here, you know.
so that's how
So-
we met, and that's how she proposed, and that's
Yep. And that's how he proposed.
Yeah.
And yeah. And he was not talking about marinating chicken. No. So
so. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our story.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Listen, we love you guys, and we'll be sharing more about, you know, kind of what happened, and we had a fairly interesting honeymoon, that is for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll share some more about that.
Yeah, we
So,
did. Should we tell them? 5,600 miles on a motorcycle for
Yeah,
our honeymoon.
for our honeymoon.
And so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, gone for a month. It was quite a
sometime.
deal.
Yeah, and coming up here.
It's been an adventure being married to him, and I like adventure, so it's been good.
All right.
Alrighty.
Thanks, everybody. You be blessed.
Let's end like we started. Love you
blessed.
guys. Yeah, I am too. Okay, bye-bye.